So it is officially summertime, and one of the things that I really like doing in summer is reading. So I thought in this video it would be fun to give you guys some book recs that honestly I think that you guys should read. A little disclaimer is, you probably don't care, but a lot of these books are probably books you've seen on social media, aka book talk, and that's kind of why I started to read them. But I think these are the ones that I'm going to recommend today are books that are popular, but I think that you should also read because I honestly like them. And I thought it would be weird if I just rate books that were like used, or I could have done that maybe in another video. If you guys want, I can rate books that I honestly didn't like that were worth so much of the hype. I can already have a lot that comes to mind now, but first I want to focus on the books that I actually enjoyed reading, and I think you personally should read if you're looking for something to read over the summer. So I got all of my books. Well, these are not every single book I own. I obviously have a lot more, but these are books that I put in my stock for the ones that I really enjoyed. And I'm going to start with the first book, which is called They Both Die at the End. So, They Both Die at the End is this novel about these two teenagers. I think it was Mateo and Rufus, and basically, it's kind of they live in this kind of weird system slash society that a lot of people like. It basically you can like kind of predict like when you're gonna die and stuff, so it's a bit creepy when you think about it. But they learn actually that they are living like when they're gonna die and that they're living their last day. So together they do a lot of good things and they kind of fulfill what they want to do before they die. That is all I'm gonna say for these books. I don't want to give too much spoilers, even though you might know that social media gives a lot of spoilers. And I would honestly give this. I would give this 4 stars because it wasn't a book that I personally could predict what would happen personally, and I think that's always something that I admire. So I would definitely give this a read if you want something that's like kind of suspenseful, you know. Okay, so you've probably seen the Inheritance Games in social media. It's really popular, and actually the next book that I'm going to show, it's actually from the same author. And I actually really liked this novel. I mean, obviously that's why I'm showing it, but basically this book is about this girl named Avery, and she's a very normal teenager, you know. She's not super rich. She is doing all the high school stuff. She's taking her exams and trying for college, all of that stuff. She works, but one day she gets a call that apparently this guy called Tobias, I think that's how you pronounce his name, Hawthorne, has gave written his will after he died into her name. Which she's obviously very shocked. She's like, how could someone normal like me be given a will for so much money from a really rich person that I've never even heard about? And she has no idea who he is. So obviously it's very strange when you're reading it and be like, why did she get this from some random person, you know? But then, in order to have that, she like literally goes on this first class thingy on a plane, and she goes to the Hawthorne house, and he there's like these 4 grandsons, which are described handsome in the novel. But she meets the grandson. She's like, these guys are weird, and they also think she's weird too. Like, how did she suddenly just get the will and they didn't? You know, they're their own blood. So obviously, people think their own blood would get the money. So then she kind of solves all these riddles and mysteries to figure out why, and then something surprising happens, which I don't really want to say because technically that would be a major spoiler. So I would really give it if you kind of like these mystery kind of suspense vibes, and also like seeing like if you want to like if you're like hooked in general and you want to know like okay like what happens next, and like kind of like the puzzle-y kind of mystery solve. It's not like a murder mystery exactly, but like more like you're solving puzzles as a reader too, like you're reading from it, so it's really interesting because you want to know obviously what happens. So I would give this a 4.25. You know what, that's like really complex. I would give it definitely higher than a 4. I would say 4.2. The reason why is obviously because I like this book, so that's why it's in the fourth like scale. But I think that there should have some parts were like a bit corny, or it should have been written a bit better in certain parts, which I was a little confused. So that's definitely what I would say. And then the next book is The Naturals. Like I said, that when I was reviewing the Inheritance Games, the next book was going to be from the same author, and it indeed is. Her name is Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Sorry, I'm kind of bad at pronouncing stuff, but this is from the same author. Okay, so the next book is The Naturals, like I said, and The Naturals is basically this girl called Cassie, and she has a really like exceptional talent of being able to read what people think about her. She can literally just see like when how people are observing at her and immediately like know what they're trying to think of her. So that is obviously a very a superpower skill that nobody really has in real life, or at least I don't know. And one day the FBI comes and they have a secret program that's running about all these people that have these natural talented abilities. I think that's why it's called Naturals. One of the reasons why it's called Naturals. And she gets invited to the program, and she works with all these ability like people that have all these magical skills just like her, so they can do like crime investigation and stuff. But then she recovers strange things from her mother's past, like her like murder and stuff like that. So she kind of solves that with other people and discovers like secrets that she never even knew before from her own past. So I would definitely give this a read if you really like I said, I feel like from this author I've noticed a common theme, which is this one is definitely more murder mystery, but also figuring out like how they figure these things out, and it's always kind of interesting to learn from that. So I would give this like a 4.5. I honestly like this a bit better than Inheritance Games, but I actually read this after Inheritance Games. So that's just how my rating is for these two books. And then the fourth book is a classic. It's To Kill a Mockingbird. This is actually, I really loved this novel so much. I read it, I think, in 8th grade. I was a bit confused when I was reading this in 8th grade, but I don't think it's too complex of a novel to read like other classics I've read. But this book is just, it's so good. Okay, so like I was saying for To Killing Mockingbird, what it's basically about is this person called Scott Finch. She's living in this really small town in Alabama, and she lives with her dad, Atticus. And basically, he gets accused, or he's like a criminal defense kind of person trying to defend someone, a black man who was accused of a false crime. So let me rephrase that. Like basically, he's claimed falsely. Does that make sense? Like, I think you guys get the picture, but honestly, I don't think that's the right grammar, so I'm sorry. I mean, you can roast me if you want, but he basically gets accused. He's defending someone who got accused of doing something wrong, even though, like, it was not, like, without evidence and stuff. So then after that, they kind of, through this journey, they learn themes of like especially Scout, she learns themes of racism, injustice, and empathy, and doing what's right for society. And I would give this a 4 out of 5 stars. I think when I first read it, I gave it a 3 stars because I thought it was like okay, like it's kind of boring, you know, like it's kind of common sense. But when I read it again, I think I would give it a 4 out of 5 because it was very emotional and also so powerful, like the way the story was told. And I just think that it talked about a lot of important things that are still present in our society, like racism and stuff. And I could connect to this book, you know. And it's funny because actually my friend named her dog Scout after the character, and I noticed some people doing that. So I guess Scout just has to do a good name with dogs now, I guess. But the next book is actually it's actually a movie adaptation now. It's called The Housemaid. You probably have heard of this book too. It's really popular, but The Housemaid is this novel where Millie, the maid, she did some crime a long time ago, but finally I think she like got like she tried not getting noticed at first, and then she tries getting a job as a maid at somebody's house, like in housekeeper, but she has to live there, like it's like a living situation, you know. Which honestly I think now is a bit outdated. I'm not very surrounded by people who do that, but I mean that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist at all. And there's a lot of untold secrets that appear in the house and very suspenseful things that, you know, Millie starts getting weirded out. And also I forgot, oh, Nina Winchester and Andrew, oh my god, I think there was a plot twist to the book that Loki I did not expect. I feel like some people would have expected, but I did not expect it. But I read this book before. I read this book, I think I just saw it in the airport, and I was like, wait, not the airport, I saw it in Barnes & Noble, and I was like, I'm gonna read this. So I read it in my plane to LA, and it was not LA, it was to Arizona, and then it was very nice. It was very short. I finished it just in one plane sitting. But I would highly recommend reading this. It's really interesting. Like, it kept wanting me to read more. I would actually give this I would give this a 5 out of 5. I know people that didn't like this book, but I low-key like this book. It was interesting. It was good. I think you should read it. And I also watched the movie. Honestly, I don't know if this is really a movie review, but I personally didn't think the movie was that great. I think the book was better. And also, I think the casting was a bit weird. Like, I liked Nina's character. Like, I liked how the actress played her, but I think everyone else was just like it didn't really match their characters, so I feel like that's also one part when you cast people. But I did like it. It was very cool. Also, the cover is really cool, right? Like, isn't it like kind of suspenseful? Like, oh my god, wow. Um, it's a bit disturbing, but I think for me, when I read it, it doesn't really seem that disturbing. When you actually see pictures of it, like individual representation, then it gets disturbing. But this was basically my mini book review. It was really short. I'm sorry about that. But if you ever want more book reviews, just let me know. Let it down in the comments, you know. I'm always happy to do it. And yeah, actually comment down what you guys think I should read next. I really like dystopian stuff, but I also want to get like out of my comfort zone and read more like, I don't know, maybe romance and stuff, or maybe I should just read books that are not so trending on like social media. But yeah, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time.